Let's learn how to make this trinket dish together. It's a great project for crocheters who are starting to learn to work in the round, and it can hold all your cute little bits and bobs. Let's get started! The first thing that you'll need is the pattern, which is available for free on my website, remyacraftyhedgehog.com. Just go to Free Patterns, Trinket Dish, and there you'll find it, along with many photos to help you along the way. Let's get into the materials. First thing you need is worsted weight yarn. This is Red Heart Super Saver Monet. It's a variegated yarn, and that can add a lot of fun pizzazz to an otherwise very straightforward pattern. You need a 5mm crochet hook. You need a stitch marker to hold your place. You need a good pair of scissors, and you need a darning needle to weave in your ends. Let's get started. For round 1, you will be making a magic ring and then putting 6 single crochets into it. If you don't know how to make a magic ring, I highly recommend all the videos by Yarn Over Hook. Their account on YouTube is an incredible resource for beginning crocheters and a nice refresher for intermediate and beyond. After I'm completed with making the magic ring setup, I'm going to add my 6 single crochets into it. Here I am making sure that I will be putting my crochet hook under both pieces of the yarn, yarning over, and completing my first single crochet. You can see it right there. That is the very first stitch completed. Now I'm going to go around and complete making all 6 single crochets to finish up round 1. See you at the end. We've now completed round 1 and we have all 6 stitches accounted for. For round 2, we're going to be doing 6 increases, meaning into every stitch, and here I'm illustrating the first stitch with my darning needle. We are going to be putting 2 single crochets. Sometimes that first stitch is a little tight, so you can wiggle a darning needle around in there to help you out. And if you have trouble inserting your crochet hook with the point, turn it and slip it in with the hook end. Now I'm going to be making my first single crochet into this stitch. After I complete it, I'm going to be adding my stitch marker. And then I will be adding a second single crochet into that same stitch. You can see the hole that I'm about to work into is the same that I previously entered. When I pull it, it opens it a little bit more, which makes it a little bit easier to see. Here I am completing the second single crochet, which is the second half of the increase. 1 and 2 make up 1 increase. And then I'm going to work my way around adding an increase into every stitch so that I go from a count of 6 to a count of 12. I've completed my 6 increases, creating 12 stitches. Let's start round 3 by removing our stitch marker. Into that first stitch, we will be putting a single crochet and replacing our stitch marker. Into the next stitch, we will be putting in an increase, which is just as we did last round, 2 stitches into 1 stitch. That was number 1, and number 2 into the same hole. I will be working my way around this round, and I will see you at the end. Round 3 is now complete, and I have 18 stitches made. For round 4, we're going to be alternating a set of 2 single crochets followed by an increase. So here is the first single crochet, and then we will replace our stitch marker. Follow it with another single crochet, and then an increase. We will repeat this set 6 times as we go around. and I will see you at the end of this section. We just completed round 4 and we have 24 stitches created. For round 5, we're going to do 3 single crochets followed by an increase. Here's number 1, and then we replace our stitch marker, then number 2, number 3, and the increase. We will be repeating this set 6 times so that we end up with 30 completed stitches by the end of the round. See you at the end. That's the end of round 5, and we have 30 completed stitches. Round 6 is 4 single crochets followed by an increase. Here's number 1, and then we replace the stitch marker, number 2, number 3, number 4, and the increase. We will be repeating this set 6 times so that we end up with 36 stitches by the end of this round. See you at the end of this round. That's 36 stitches completed. Round 7 is 5 single crochets followed by an increase. Here's number 1, and we replace the stitch marker, number 2, 3, 4, 5, and the increase. We will be repeating this set 6 times so that we end up with 42 stitches by the end of this round. That's 42 stitches made. Now round 8 is when things get a little more interesting. After we remove our stitch marker, we're going to be working into the back loop only. That means you're working in the farthest away loop of the 2 loops that make up the V in a crochet stitch. With my darning needle, I'll make it a little more clear. These 2 loops that make up the V are a crochet stitch. Normally you go under both legs, but for the back loop, we're going to go under just this back leg. Not the whole thing, just this back leg only. If it helps you remember, the back loop is the loop farthest away from you. And it's easier to enter with the point of your crochet hook. I'm going to complete a single crochet, replace my stitch marker, and then I'm going to repeat that all the way around 42 times. Always entering under that back loop and making a single crochet. Now I'll catch you at the end of this round. Now we've reached the end of round 8, and we have made 42 back loop only single crochets. Round 9 is very straightforward. You're just doing a single crochet all the way around, ending up with 42 completed stitches by the end. I'll see you at the end of this round. Alright, 42 stitches created. For round 10, we're back into entering into only one of the loops, except this time it's the front loop only. Using my darning needle, I'll show you. That's the whole stitch, both loops of a V. The front loop is the loop that is closest to you. Not the whole, not the back, no. Just the front, which is the one closest to you. You're going to be entering it the same way you would normally, underneath, but come up through the middle of the V and use that space to create your single crochet. So here I am creating number 1, and then I will replace my stitch marker. And I will do this 42 times as I go around into each of the stitches. Again, just the front loop only. Use either the tip or the hook portion of your crochet hook to get in more easily. I'll see you at the end of this round. Now we've reached the end of round 10 and we have made 42 single crochets into the front loop only. Round 11 is just like round 10. You're going to be working in the front loop only, which again, I'll show you with my darning needle. It's just this front loop, not both, just this front one. You will be putting a single crochet into that front loop, and you will do that 42 times as you go around, ending up with 42 stitches. I'll see you at the end of this round. We just finished round 11 and we made 42 single crochets into the front loop only. The reason that we're doing a front loop, back loop alternating thing is because it'll give a crisp, hard edge and reinforce the wall on the outside of your trinket dish. For round 12, we're going to be making 42 single crochets through both the remaining front loop only left over from round 8 and both of the loops of round 10. Here is the line of front loop only stitches that are left over. As you can kind of see, as we've been working our way around, the beginning has shifted. The first front loop only stitch is here technically, while the next stitch for us is here, and that does create a diagonal. So to kind of solve this problem, we're just going to move it back a little bit and enter this front loop only, which is technically the last, along with the next stitch that we would have otherwise entered. My darn needle is here showing you how that adds a nice straight effect. And here I am with my crochet hook using the hook portion to enter underneath that front loop only, as well as both loops of the very next stitch. And here I am completing my very first single crochet right now. And I will replace my stitch marker to keep track of where I am. You can see the side of the trinket dish is starting to fold in on itself, creating that nice structural wall that we want. So we'll continue forward, going under the front loop only, that's next, and the next stitch together, making our single crochets. Let me demonstrate it again, and then I will see you at the end of this round. There I am entering the front loop only, as well as the next stitch, pulling through both, and completing my single crochet. Alright, I'll see you at the end of this round. And here we are at the end of round 12. You can see this nice hard wall that we've created so that none of your bits or bobs will fall out of your trinket dish. Now let's cut our yarn and pull through so that we can invisibly finish this piece. Now to invisibly finish, we take our yarn and put it on our darning needle. Now normally we would work into the next stitch, but to invisibly finish, you don't do that. That's the trick. So not this stitch, that's not the one we want the next one. We enter in under both loops and pull all the way through to the back. Now you can see the stitch that I'm coming out of on the right, where the yarn that I'm working with is coming out of, that's what we're going to enter. So you enter in through the middle of the V and then out the back. And you pull it tight. And when you do that, pew, it's magic. It makes it really hard to tell where you have begun or ended, giving your work a beautiful, seamless effect. Please don't mind the cat paw that has entered the scene. Indy has decided that he wanted to learn how to weave in ends as well. So pull it tight, but not so tight that it distorts the work. What we want to do is hide our end. So I'm going to weave it into this dark area underneath where you won't really ever see it. I'm going to go under several stitches and then pull it through. Now make sure you don't pull so hard that you distort it. You want to keep the stitches nice and even. Now I'm going to change directions and weave in the other direction. This just helps secure your stitches so that they're less likely to unravel as your piece experiences wear and tear and use. When I run my needle through, I like to check on the other side to make sure that I don't see the needle so that I know that I am effectively burying my yarn end. Once I'm done, I give it a gentle tug, and then I trim off any excess. I'll weave in the other side as well, and then my piece will be complete. A small tip for weaving in the end on this side is just that this will be the most visible side of the trinket dish. So instead of weaving it in on the side that it's coming out of, I'm going to pop my needle through to the back and weave it in on the back side. If you are having trouble getting under your stitches to weave in your ends, switch to a thinner darning needle. And again, when you pull through at the end, make sure you're not distorting your stitches or all of your beautiful work. Trim off any excess, and then you are done. Flip your trinket dish over, give it a little gentle shaping, and then it is ready for all of your bits and bobs. Make sure to call in your chief cat inspector so that he can make sure your work is up to par. Enjoy your trinket dish, and remember, if you like this video, to like and subscribe and follow along as I add more free patterns and tutorials to my website and to my YouTube channel. Row fun!